Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, and if this is your first time watching, which it should be because this is my first ever YouTube video. Welcome, and if you like the content, make sure to drop a like and subscribe and leave a comment to let me know what you'd like to see more of. But yeah, so just to get into this video is very simply just going to be about my experience with the campaign, the strategy I've gone for to try and get through everything as efficiently as I can and as quickly as I can, and also any, what would I do differently if a beta came out tomorrow where we started from scratch, given everything that I know now. So just kind of my top tips from someone who's level 42 and managed to get through the crazy amount of energy they gave you. But yeah, let's have a quick look at it. So to get into campaign, so I have cleared story campaign and I have finished Avalon, and I'm stuck currently in Asgard and trying to find solutions to keep pushing on. But to story, I have pretty much got full stars on everything except the last boss on Ecker, which I won't spoil for anyone, but there's you get gifted a unit, so you have 5 units in the battle, which, while the first time when you're clearing through the campaign is very helpful, the second time when you're trying to do it in 20 turns, it actually steals a turn because it doesn't do anywhere near enough damage. So anytime it takes a turn, you're sitting there going, oh, it should have been my unit taking a turn there, potentially could have pushed through it. But yeah, so managed to finish all the stars. One more here. I just really want the pull, so I'll probably try and RNG it out at some stage later today. But it's quite frustrating because there's just a ton of HP on the boss, and one of the mobs, if you use your ult on it, nukes the divinity on your whole team. So you need to get that unit out of the way and then try and nuke the boss, and it's just proving quite difficult, but we'll get there. But yeah, so what would my advice be to anyone that is stuck in the campaign or currently progressing? The first thing I would say is that, from what I've seen, what stage in campaign after you get to Aru the XP doesn't seem to change all that much. You probably get slightly more the higher up you go, but it's not noticeable. And what I have essentially done on my teams is I have sat in Aru, stage 10, and I have speed farmed this with a team of slayers to very simply farm speed gear, because having more turns and going first is always probably one of the most beneficial things you can have in these types of games. And because all I have was speed gear, which I can show you, it means I don't need to worry about sets. So all my teams are going naturally quicker because they've got the 3 set bonuses for speed gear, and I farm so much of the gear that I've got the primary stats that I need, and in some cases the substats as well, that work with the kits to make gearing incredibly simple for me, in terms of everyone gets their speed sets and they all get the primary stats they need. And I have loads of boots with speed, legs with speed, so it's just made gearing quite easy. And then the actual stats I've reached on my characters, I'll go through my roster in another video and just bring you through kind of what characters have worked and what characters I'd recommend. But if you are stuck in campaign at the minute and looking for units that could help you push through, what I would say is Hippolyta is incredible, and she has a bug where her ultimate, tip of the spear, attacks one enemy with one random ally joining the attack. This currently, at least for me, sometimes or most of the time, has multiple allies joining the attack who aren't from Olympus. But she also heals allies for 20% of their max HP. So she's an incredibly good tank, well worth building. I would have taken her to 60 if I didn't pull one of the epics that I have. And the other person I would recommend is Shanjay. She's got a heal all allies on her basic, which is incredibly strong. She has a heal on her ult, and her core ability is kind of meh. It's accuracy up basically. But realistically, if I could turn this ability off and just use her basic all the time, I would do it. And it's what I do when I'm just playing manually. But these two characters with your starter should be more than enough to get you through at least as far as Aru, where you can start farming speed gear. And then as well, one of the rares I would recommend building, who I'm going to build next, not to clear campaign because I've done it, is Lina Massa. Is that his name? Lina Massa. Yeah. So the reason I'm looking at building him is he has, across all of his abilities, he gets a 20% additional chance to crit. So you only need to build him for 80%, which is doable. 100% is very hard. So I can get this guy to crit cap. And then when he's at crit cap, all of his critical hits decrease the target's turn meter by 10%. And turn meter reduction is a form of, I suppose, the defensive utility. You're constantly preventing the enemies from taking turns as quickly as they should, which gives you more time to heal up in between the absolute nukes that hit you in adventure mode. As well, his ultimate attacks one enemy, and then if it kills the enemy, he gets to ignore defense on his AoE that attacks everyone. So, and he places banish on them as well, so they can't be revived. So he's nuts. If you pull this guy early and you're not happy with your damage dealers, this guy will carry you. Hippolyta with the Lina Massa and Chanjay should help anyone through campaign. And those would be just a quick little recommendation. If you are stuck and you're looking for some advice on where to go, these are the characters I would go to. But yeah, so the general strategy was just farming Aru at all times. Whenever I was not doing anything or ran out of things to do with my ascensions, I just came into Aru, I sent them off, you get millions of XP. I don't even think I'm hurting for XP at the minute. No. So I got 2.71 million XP, and to be honest, the only reason I'm not going for my next 6-star at the minute is it takes ages of clicking through menus to do, and I don't have the patience for it currently, and I'm focusing on the dungeons and other things in the meantime. But yeah, so I suppose one of the things I've seen in other videos is people are saying, and to be fair, I fell for it. I came in on day one when I ran out of gold and said, oh, gold is clearly going to be a massive bottleneck. And I spent the 2k on 6 million gold because I was looking at the calendar and said for an extra 500,000, you get 3 million on the last day. And the last day, we're going to be pretty much farmed up with everything else. So this honestly seems like a trap. If you're starting this weekend or later on and you want, or if it's the same in the release, this calendar does not seem worth it at all. Especially for now, I would just buy this, but knowing what I know now, this was a mistake. As you see, I have 9.34 million gold, which means I've spent 2k on 6 million gold that I essentially haven't needed as of yet. And all of my characters are pretty much in level 16 to level 12 gear. And what I really would like to do now is farm more. So what I should have done is not spent this and potentially saved it for energy refills further down the line, so I could have kept pushing. But you live and you learn. It's a beta. Nothing like, it's not like I've absolutely crucified my account. But I could potentially keep pushing if I hadn't, and I wouldn't be struggling for gold. So while there's definitely a bottleneck for gold in the first few hours of the account, and as you start progressing and looking for ways to level up aggressively, gold can be an issue. But as soon as you get to the point where you can farm Aru, I would recommend, first of all, if you want it to be really easy, you could stop at Aru and just farm a team of 450s, and that will be enough to get you through campaign. And in other games like Raid and other hero collectors that I've played, normally going really vertical on your first character is the best way to play. The 6 stars in this are very, very strong. There's a noticeable increase in them versus the 5-star. But in the time it takes you to level 1 6-star, you will have a team of 50s. And having a team of 50s seems pretty much as strong, if not stronger, than having 160 and 2 or 3 40s from my experience. I could be wrong. There's probably some legendaries that you pull. My legendaries haven't been absolutely game changing. The best unit I've pulled is Zipe, and he's an epic. In damage wise, that is. The other legendaries obviously have utility on them that he doesn't bring, but having a team of 50s seems to be a lot more efficient in terms of progressing. And then once you've got to that stage of having the team of 50s, you'll be able to farm much more efficiently to get to the next stage of campaign or wherever you're stuck. So that would be my suggestion. But yeah, and then in terms of that, so just a little overview of where I've gotten to. So I've gone through campaign, dungeons as well. Just a little bit of advice that I would give myself is Workshop of Bata and Svarag's Horde don't seem worth it. The way I compared it when I was coming to the decision myself was, if you run one stage of campaign, you get 15 to 16,000 gold, 28,000 experience, you get some crafting materials so that you can upgrade gear, you get to choose the type of gear set you need. So while I only farmed speed sets, I could absolutely see value in farming crit percent sets for your damage dealers to get them to 100%, because that's something I'm struggling with. I just went with the simple method of speed is always good, but you can absolutely just choose the stage of campaign or the type of gear you want, and you get all of these other benefits that you need anyway to power up your account at the same time. Whereas as soon as you come into these dungeons, you barely get any gold, barely get any XP. It's just not worth, the juice isn't worth the squeeze at this stage of the game. Absolutely, when I have a team of 60s and want hyper specialized pieces of gear, I will come into it, but you don't need it for where we are currently. And as I said, team composition and gear is not the reason I'm not able to push through campaign. It seems to be team composition and just having the right buffs and debuffs running to nuke through the waves. But campaign is very difficult. I think I'd be surprised if they don't tune it down for a live release. The difficulty scaling seems absurd. The only one you could convince me of is Hag's Hollow. And to be honest, I'm tempted to start farming this because I need weapon upgrades. The reason I haven't done it yet, and considering holding off on it a little bit longer, is 3 to 9 God Steel for 10 energy is just nothing. I would have to put in thousands of energy to have a decent amount of pulls from the smithy to get weapons. And then from what I've seen so far on the weapons, only the epics are rolling percentage primary stats. All of the rares I've pulled have been flat substats, which just aren't as valuable. As soon as you get past kind of 3-4 stars, flat substats just are in general way worse. So while you can level the flat stats to higher and get them to 5 and 6 stars or however high it goes, I'm not too sure. Having a 2-star epic with percent stats on it just is numerically stronger than having the rares. So yeah, I would need to basically farm a load of gold steel or god steel and then hit the epics that I want to hit from the god steel pulls to get it. So it seems pretty high risk, high reward, but also the chances of it happening and getting the exact ones I need multiple times doesn't seem too appealing to be putting energy into this when I can be doing other things. And then with the dungeons here, absolutely farm these. It's probably my next big step, is getting all of my characters to max ascension. So why am I doing it? The recommendation I would give to any player starting off is that when you get a new character that you're going to use, so let's just use Hippolyta as an example, you can bring them to kind of 3 stars quite quickly. So I would do that first, bring them to 3 stars, and then once you have them at 3 stars, I'd say a team of characters that you want to use or gods you want to use at 3 stars, or even 4 stars, then I would start, let's say you get them to 4 stars, so you have a team of 5 units at 4 stars, you then bring them into the Ascension dungeons. I would only farm enough to get the passive unlocked. um, because it's just a very high value ascension to get, and it's not that expensive. Let's go to one I haven't leveled up or haven't ascended to see what it costs. So it costs 6 small. So you could even do this at a lower level, to be honest. Just get the passive unlocked as quick as you can. And yeah, once you have the passives unlocked, I would keep going until they're level 50. And then once you have the team of 50s, then I would start looking and maxing out their ascensions to 5 stars. The main reason that you want to ascend is the first 3 give you 12% for rares when you have all 3, 15% for epics of just HP, defense, and attack, which is just, it makes them hit harder and bulkier. So it's just incredibly noticeable when you have the ascensions done. The 4th ascension lets you get extra stats out of your gear. So you can, if you attune your unit to gear that all has attack percent substat or attunement rolls, you can bump their attack percent up really quickly. So another massive attunement rank to go. Rank 5 and rank 6, I wouldn't be as pushed on getting +6 accuracy. As far as I know, all it does is give me +6 accuracy, which for the level of investment and time it takes to get these on the higher scale champs or the higher rarity champs, it's just not worth it. I have done it for Zipe just because he got crit damage on his 5th. The 6-star initial divinity +300, honestly, I don't think it's worth it. I just left it on overnight, and when I came back I had enough for it, so I put it on. But having +300 divinity when you enter a wave, or when you enter a battle, is great until you get to your first ult, and then you're back in square one. So I would prefer to see this be a divinity cost reduction rather than +300 starting, but we'll see. It's a beta. I just don't think it's worth the time it takes to get it. But yeah, so that's what I would do. I would get the team to 50, farm their ascensions, and then while getting them to 50, you're farming gear from speed. And then yeah, after that you can kind of break out into the things. You can choose who you want a 6-star. So in my case, I 6-starred Odin Abunga because I pulled a legendary from the Void Shards, or the Void pulls, the purple ones. And I thought, read his kit and thought he looks really cool, leveled him up. He is really cool. He doesn't hit as hard as I want. I think I kind of misunderstood his kit. Realistically, I want more faith on him so that he's cycling to his ultimate more often and then using his ult, which is calling all allies to join the attack. And Izumo allies inflict 30% increased damage, which is pretty good and definitely something that I'll probably try and build around later on. But yeah, so I choose your first few 6-stars and start working on them, and then push to a campaign. But yeah, so that's where I'm at. If you have any questions, or if you would like to see, my gearing and how I've gone through it, I can happily do another video. But yeah, if you're still here, thanks for watching, and best of luck with your own campaign farms. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.